All right, it's Andreas Hale of ESPN, and I'm here with Kayla Harrison, who fights Ketlen Vieira at UFC 307 in Salt Lake City. Kayla, you know the question that everybody's going to ask, and I might as well start with it. How's the weight cut?
All is well. God is good. He's in control, and everything's going according to plan. So we're good.
Feeling solid because the first fight you looked phenomenal. For years, everybody has said we don't know how she can squeeze down to 135, and you did it, and it felt like you did it with ease. Looking back on that first weight cut, is like the second weight cut easier, or does it get any easier at this point?
Um, I mean, I think there's just a little bit of sort of like mental hurdles that you have to get over once you've made the weight. The first time you make the weight, you're scared, you're terrified, you're like, can I do this? How can I do this? And you kind of have to let it go and just for me, I give it up to God and let him do the work and just trust the process. And this time the fear is more based on like I know how hard it is, and even though it may have looked easy, it was not easy. So again, like just releasing that fear and realizing that anything in life worth having is usually pretty hard.
Well, what's worth having is what people are calling you the uncrowned champion of the women's bantamweight division. Look, I said this on Twitter a while back, X, whatever we're going to call it, and I'm going to ask you about this. Listen, Julianna and Raquel are fighting for the title, and I think you should be like the special guest referee because usually in pro wrestling, like the person who's next up for the title, they're like the enforcer or the special guest referee. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know if they would want to put me in the cage with both of them because I'd take them both out at the same time and then just take my title that night. So I don't think they should let me with that one unless
So
they're really ready to give it up.
So look, the way this is booked though is it's your fight is right before theirs. Are you gonna do you plan on coming back out to watch the fight, or you plan to stay in the back, or what's the plan here?
I'll be watching. I'll be watching.
Okay, let's talk about Ketlen Vieira. She's dangerous, great submissions, um, a pretty much an unheralded bantamweight. Not enough people talk about her.
Mhm.
When this fight was booked, what do you think of her as an opponent? And where do you think her strengths are, and how does it match up with you?
Yeah, I mean, I think she's a very good fighter. I think she's well rounded, like you said, good jujitsu, good striking. And I just feel like everybody's tough until you beat them. So I'm not going in here with like this illusion or delusion of it's going to be easy or a walkthrough. But I've trained properly. I've prepared. My team is prepared. We have an excellent game plan. And I do believe that I'm the best MMA fighter in the world. And when you believe that and you have that belief in your heart, you go out and you act accordingly. And the proof will show in my performance on Saturday night.
I mean, look, I know you trained for difficult fights, but looking back at the Holly Holm fight, you made it. It felt like it was easy, and I'm not saying it was easy for you, but looking back on that performance, were you like just completely firing on all cylinders, or is there a part of you that was like, I could have done better that night?
Um, yeah, I mean, listen, train hard, win easy, like there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that go into my preparation, and I don't leave any stone unturned. I don't skip days of the gym. I don't skip my mental reps. I don't skip my cardio. I eat what I'm supposed to eat. I recover the way I'm supposed to recover. I spend a lot of time alone, whether it's in a sauna or on a 6 mile run or whatever, like focused and zoned in on what it is that I want to achieve. And I think it actually makes me even deadlier. I think it makes me more dangerous as a fighter. Like, number one, everything I've sacrificed to get here. And yeah, just this like instilled belief in myself, from knowing that I deserve to win. I've worked my ass off.
There are some women when you made your arrival in the UFC that said, "Don't skip the line. She has to prove herself," and have said some things about you. Kayla, I've never noticed that you've ever said anything disparaging about anybody in this division until they've said something about you. Does it just speak to the threat that you are to them? Like, why do you think they would say something like this?
I mean, because I think everybody knows, like it's only a matter of time. I do believe that I'm the best female fighter in the world. And yeah, when the truth don't hurt, then they start telling lies. So of course they're gonna talk and of course they're gonna cry. And I just keep my head down, keep working hard, put one foot in front of the other, keep doing the next right thing, and I know my time will come.
The lies. I would ask what gets underneath your skin the most, but I think I know the answer to this. Uh, your favorite fighter, Julianna Peña, tried to insinuate PEDs, and these aren't allegations that I think anybody should just throw around like that, right? I mean,
100%.
how deeply did it offend you that somebody would say something like that? Because we know how the internet, we know how social media is. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter if it's fact. When somebody puts things in the atmosphere, some people
Yeah.
just run off with it. When you
Yeah.
heard that, how frustrated was it to hear that? And I'm not going to say you want her more than Raquel, but I would assume that you want to bounce some elbows off her forehead.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, at first I was pretty like, I just feel like it's low class. I would never publicly accuse someone of something if I didn't have hard facts or hard evidence that pointed me in that direction. And so at first I was kind of pissed off by it because again, she's in a position, she's on a platform, people pay attention to what she has to say. And there are a lot of fans that I'm new to and um could be easily swayed or think one thing and not know shit. Like you don't know shit about me. You don't know anything about me, how hard I train, where I come from, what I've been through. And so just to make these haphazard comments is I think low class. And then I really considered it a compliment. I realized that like, damn, you don't work hard enough to look the way I look, and you don't believe in yourself enough to have this kind of hard work and dedication. And so I consider it a compliment. Like, I'm all natural. I've always been all natural. I've worked my ass off since I was 12 years old. And I'm proud. I'm proud of the work I've done. And listen, whatever Juliana or any keyboard warrior says doesn't take away from that. Like, I know the truth. Hopefully the fans will learn the truth. I mean, I've been tested. The only one who's been tested more than me at this point is Conor McGregor, I think, or
Really?
maybe, yeah, I've been tested like 11 times this year. And I think people also forget like the first time I was tested by USADA, I was 12 years old. Like they came to my middle school. I don't know if there are people who like live in some kind of delusion, but my mom and dad were nurses. I was from Middletown, Ohio. Like no one's given a 12-year-old steroids, like it's not happening. I was on the national roster. I've been tested since then. So they have all of my previous history. Like I'm just not a cheater. I've never taken steroids. I never will. I don't believe in it. I think especially in our sport, it's borderline dangerous, like we're inflicting damage on each other. And I would never taint my legacy in that way. So
I joked about bouncing elbows off her forehead. Look, you've been talking since you showed up that you couldn't wait to throw elbows in a fight.
yeah.
How did it feel the first opportunity you got to slam an elbow into Holly's head, and now it's like I want more of this?
Yeah, I'm really grateful that I have the opportunity and I'm in a place where I can utilize this weapon. I spent so much of my life not being able to throw it. I didn't realize how valuable it was going to be to someone who has a very top heavy game, um, who spends a lot of time like on top of people. Like, dude, it changes the entire game. And I'm so grateful.
That's scary, man. For you to say that you're grateful. I mean, listen, we knew it, right? Like for those of
Yeah.
us who have watched you for years in the PFL, there have been plenty of situations where we were like, damn, if Kayla throws some elbows here, this fight's going to be over quick. Now
Yeah.
you have that opportunity. I feel like a lot of fights are going to be a lot shorter now that you have this opportunity.
That's the goal. That's the goal. Short
All
and
right.
sweet.
The Obviously you win. Everybody knows that you're going to get the title opportunity. Back in your old organization, Cyborg and Larissa Pacheco are also fighting.
Hmm.
Where it stands right now, those two have spoken like the winner of that fight should be considered the best female fighter in the world. Where do you think they shape up in the terms of what you've seen in the UFC, what you've dealt with in the PFL? Do you think that they're close to having that claim, or is it a little off base?
I mean, Cyborg, I can't really speak on because I've never actually shared the cage with her. I do think she's one of the legends of the sport. She's just been so dominant for so long. Um, Pacheco's up there, man. I think that she is a very good fighter. I think, uh, yeah, it's tough. Yeah. I mean, I've spent what, 30, 25, 50. I mean, I've spent how many minutes in a cage with her? Like, I get, I think she's a very high level fighter, but I don't think she's the best in the world.
That would be you.
That would be me.
We're just waiting for the belt to cement that fact.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I'm already the best in the world, but pretty soon the rest of the world will know it.
I think a lot of us already kind of agree with that. I don't want to go too far, but I mean, we're just saying the reason why they're talking about you being the uncrowned champion is not, it just doesn't come out of the blue.
That's such a sweet title. I love that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a lot of people have said it. One of my
I try
last,
to stay offline because for every good comment, there's 10 bad comments. So, but
oh,
I like to hear that people are saying that. That's very nice. Thank you.
I can only imagine. One of my last questions, because we don't know when this title opportunity is going to come.
Hmm.
But we can assume it's going to be early in 2025, and you get a chance to certify yourself as the best in the world, like you have mentioned. Is there anybody on this roster outside of these two women that you're looking at? I've heard you mention Amanda Nunes' name before. Do you
Yeah,
think winning the title would inspire her to possibly come back? Do
I
you
hope
think?
so.
Because a lot of people
That's,
feel like she
that's
left.
the prayer,
Yeah,
like,
the people feel like she left because she ran out of things to do, and you're like
yeah.
the new thing to fight. And how big of a fight would you and Amanda Nunes be? Do you
Yeah.
think, like, how big is that?
I mean, I think it's the biggest female fight maybe ever. It's tough. There've been so many legendary fights amongst women. I think of my teammate Joanna and Wei Lee. I think of Ronda back in the day and Amanda and Holly. Like, there've been a lot of huge epic fights. Even Valentina, she's a legend, like GOAT as well. But yeah, I think that there's a lot of history and she's the greatest of all time. Like she's the greatest of all time. And if you want to be the greatest of all time, no better way to cement that legacy than to come take out the greatest of all time. So
Mm,
before it was like I'm in a different promotion, this and that. I did not expect her to retire when she retired. I did not expect her to leave ATT when she left ATT. Not that I was like animosity or anything. Like it wasn't, to me, the highest compliment you can give someone is to say, you're the best. I want to be you. I want to fight you. Like if a young up and coming fighter said that to me, I would feel respected and I would feel honored by that. And I would give them their shot, like that's just the way of the world. Like you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So, and that's how I've always lived my life. Like I could have definitely won one Olympic gold medal and been done, but I said, no, I'm going to go back and do it again. I definitely could have won one PFL title and been done, but said, no, I'm going to go back and do it again. And now I'm chasing another mountain, like that's how I live my life. And I'm hopeful that she wants to, in a very respectful way, find out what we're both made of. I think we'll bring each other up a level, like that's the beauty of sports and that's the beauty of competition.
Before I let you go, I'm not going to ask you what's going to happen in your fight, because I never ever heard somebody say I'm going to lose. That's crazy. Nobody asked that. But I do want to get your take on Rocky versus Julianna, and how do you think that fight may play out?
I mean, it's a tough call, right? Like Juliana hasn't fought in a couple years. She was injured. Rocky's the champ, and I think no matter how much um like that brings a level of confidence, that brings a level of poise and composure to a fight that you can't really teach or implement in training. Like you're just like, I'm the champ. I'm the champ. So I tend to lean more towards grapplers, just call it loyalty. But it's really up in the air. I don't know who's gonna win. I don't know. I really don't know. I keep going back and forth on it. I really don't give a shit, to be honest. Like,
And we will leave it at that. Kayla Harrison doesn't give a shit. She just wants to fight
it's probably
whoever.
gonna be the headline now.
I don't make the headlines, but it's
Yeah.
a funny headline. Nevertheless, I appreciate the time, Kayla. Good luck
But
next week. Can't wait to speak to you again. Thank you so much.
yeah, sounds good. Thank you so much. Take care.